In this week's episode, I'm going to lead by example and tap out because of 3 things that are going on in my own design right now. So I'm going to walk you through that, and I'm going to show you how living your design isn't always convenient, but it's always correct.
Welcome to Unjaded. I'm your host, Vicki Dixon. This is a podcast with a human design spin on building the life, the relationships, and the business that you were made for. Let's dive in.
So this may be a little bit like Seinfeld. This morning when I was writing this episode, I was kind of feeling like, is this a show about nothing? It's not really about nothing, but it's kind of like that. It's about just the things that happen in life and how leaning into my human design has enabled me to kind of flow with it a little bit. And it's not the most convenient, and maybe it's not the best outcome in this very moment, but I know that it's correct for me in getting the things done that I'm here to do. So the end of the year in my business had quite a few tech mishaps, which, and I don't want to affirm this, but it does seem to be a little bit of a storyline in my life. So we're going to change that hopefully in 2024. But I had these tech mishaps, and it meant that I had to really push through in my business, which was not my plan for December because, as you know, if you've been around for a little while, we have 2 newborn babies in our lives. So I was meant to be enjoying these babies, and I did still get to enjoy them, but I did have to push through a lot in my business. We cranked out 13 episodes of Unjaded within about 2 weeks, and I had an unprecedented amount of readings and reports to get done before Christmas. So it was really a challenging time and a fun time. I had so much fun, but it led me to be pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And I have to tell you, even manifesting generators get tired. So just as a reminder, manifesting generators are the type that seems the most to feel like they need to be always energized. And you know, if you hear people talking about manifesting generators, it's always that they're busy, and they have endless stores of energy and all of these things. And even manifesting generators get tired. So for me, I'm going to talk about 3 things that have brought me to this episode today so that you can apply them to your life. If you don't yet have your human design chart, you can pause this episode and head over to my website. It's vickidixon.com. It's linked in the show notes, and you can download your chart for free. You can do it for free without even your email address if you want. If you want to put your email address in, you'll get lots of educational resources that'll walk you through what your design means. So for me, I've just come through a major emotional wave. And if you're someone who has a defined emotional solar plexus, then you definitely have waves in your human design. They're built into you, that you have these emotional highs and lows built into your design. My wave comes with pretty high highs and really low lows that make me feel like the world is coming to an end. And I've talked about this on a few episodes of Unjaded, how oftentimes as women with an emotional wave, we feel like it's a hormonal imbalance, or we think there's something wrong with us that hormonally that is throwing everything off course. And I have found with myself and with clients that our hormone cycles do play into it. Like, I feel like the universe is a kind and loving universe. So it's not going to give you, your emotional wave one week and then your cycle one week. And then, so you're not going to be bitchy all the time and hard to live with all the time. But it's going to pack it all in at once, which sometimes means that it's a really big punch of an emotional wave. And that's what this one was for me. But also we have to remember, whether we have an emotional wave or not, we have to remember that self-care is really important. And I'm all about the real self-care. I'm not talking about bubble baths and glasses of wine and shopping trips. I'm talking about, are you getting enough rest? Are you getting enough movement? Are you drinking enough water? Like the things that really matter. Journaling, spending time in your own aura if that's something that rejuvenates you. Ooh, that was a hard word to say all of a sudden. So all of these things are going to help you to come through the waves a little bit easier. For me, I've been in this wave and I've been trying all week. This is Thursday now that I'm recording this. I've been trying all week to come up with topics for an episode. Now, I have a content bank that would make Gary Vee jealous, but I cannot make myself get into any of it. My generator sacral is not responding to anything. I'm not feeling lit up about any of that content. So part of that is my emotional wave, and I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. Part of it is that my root pulse is definitely off. I pushed in December, like maybe you did too in your business and in your life in December. And now my whole body is going, oh, okay, we just need a break for a minute. And if you have a defined root in your human design, which means that it's colored in, the bottom center on your chart is colored in, your energy is going to operate also in pulses. So if you have an emotional wave and a root pulse, you can see how these things could add up, right? Sometimes when your root pulse is off, you're going to feel like you're walking through quicksand to get things done. And then there's going to be other times where it's really super easy and you're just on fire and you can't be stopped. And that can be the root pulse. So for me, emotional wave, not a lot of sleep. Root pulse is definitely off right now, and I'm not in response to anything. So what I decided to do for today is tap out. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to talk about how this happens to us sometimes. How sometimes we can't come up with something fresh, and leaning into our design is actually the most helpful and most caring thing that we can do for ourselves and our audience. Because if you're going through something, chances are that other people in your life who look to you for support and for guidance and for mentorship are facing those same things too. And remember that living your design is not always convenient, but it's always correct. I mean, so many times it's easier to just push through. To just push through. The invitation may not be there, but you push through anyway. The thing to respond to may not be there, but you push through anyway. You may not be well enough resourced. You may not have been able to talk out your feeling with someone or your decision with someone, and you just push through because that's what we've been trained to do. So stepping into our design really allows us to say, you know what? This isn't aligned for me right now. I'm not sure why it's not aligned for me right now, but I'm going to come back to myself and I'm going to wait for the thing that is aligned for me to come to me. And then we trust that the universe will bring it because it always does, because we live in a kind and a loving universe. So today, one of the things that I'm doing, one of the ways that I'm leaning into my design is that I'm realizing that I have been inside my own four walls for probably just over a week. It's really easy after the last 3 or 4 years we've been through. It's really easy to stay home, right? It's really easy. You know, so many of us work from home. Our whole life can be inside of our four walls if we want it to be now. But I have a markets environment in my human design. So in every human design, there is an environment that you're best suited for. That doesn't mean that I need to run a market. I'll explain to you what it means. But your environment, it's really key to how you'll be able to see what you're supposed to see in life and how you'll be able to do what you're supposed to do in life when you're in the right environment for you. My environment is markets. And Sawyer, my granddaughter, my oldest grandchild, she's 3.5. She has a markets environment as well. And it's been really interesting to watch her in market environments. She loves to go out and be in stores. And she's not a kid. Like my husband went with us a couple times because I spend Fridays with Sawyer. And he's gone with us a couple times. He's like, she doesn't even ask for anything. It's not about buying things if you have a markets environment. It's about being in a market and seeing goods and services exchanged, seeing people get what they need, seeing what things are available, all of those things. And then that fires up your type and strategy. That will fire up for me my manifesting generatoriness, my ability to respond. It will give me things to respond to when I'm in this markets environment. It's absolutely magical how your environment feeds you. So, you know, I have a client who has a kitchens environment and she had an office made for her, and she's feeling a little bit of guilt over this, but she had an office made for her in her basement, and it's beautiful. It has these beautiful bookshelves, and it's like a dream office, and it's in her basement away from everybody, and she has a kitchens environment. She needs to be in places where things are transforming, where there's lots going on. Picture a busy kitchen in a restaurant. That's the type of environment she needs. So she can't get anything done in that office, and she's sitting at her kitchen table instead. Someone else that I work with has a caves environment. And for her, she needs to be able to sit in her office and just have one door facing out. She needs to face that door and see who's coming in and out. The first thing that she's going to do if she's in an unfamiliar is sit with her back to the wall and cozy herself up somehow, because that's her caves environment. So that's just 3 of the environments. There are more than that, but it just gives you an idea how there are so many opportunities to lean into your human design to make your life easier. And we need to give ourselves more permission to be able to step away when things are not flowing, to be able to stop and take a pause and go, how can I get back into alignment so that I am on fire, so that I am lit up, so that I have things to respond to, so that I accept the right invitations, so that I initiate the right things. All of that stuff matters. Human design is truly your best chance to stay unjaded. As you walk through life, stuff is going to come up over and over and over and over and over again. And you're going to have so many opportunities to step away from who you're really here to be. It's my mission for you to come back to yourself and live your life on purpose every damn day, unjaded all the way. Thanks for being here. I will be here next week with something new and fresh that I have been in response to. I can guarantee it.